everybody. I usually go live around this time on Tuesdays, and I have a few things to share with you, but mostly what we're going to do in this video is paint. I've got my sketchbook out. I'll just show you if I can. I'm going to turn my camera around in a minute, but I've been working on a floral that I've still got a lot of work to do on. I have a sketchbook that's mostly just for, or it is dedicated just for florals, for me just to experiment and try things and play around. And so that's what I've been doing today. And I wanted to make sure that you guys know that this Thursday and Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be painting either this or this, a little bit of both. It is a workshop that's totally free for anybody. You don't have to sign up or pay or whatever, but it's going to be on my Facebook page here at 7 p.m. Central Time on the 6th and 7th of February. So that's this Thursday and Friday night. And we're going to be painting an envelope with some pretty florals in there. So flowers are, oh, there's some practice on the back of that. I forgot I did that. Flowers are one of my, well, they are my favorite thing to paint. And so I'm going to turn my camera around. Hi, Tiffany. And I won't be able to see your comments very well when I do this, but I'm going to flip my camera so that you can see over my table and watch me while I'm painting in my sketchbook. I'm going to show you if I don't know if I'll mess it up or not. Let me do this. This is the sketchbook that I'm using, and it lays flat. Like I can open it up and use the paper all the way across, and I don't remember what brand it is. Let me see if I can see it on the back without closing my book up. It is a Canson. I think it's called I forgot what it's called. I'll put a link below after the video if you're interested in sketchbooks like this, because I really like this one. Okay, hang with me for just a minute. One day I'll get a setup that is better suited for switching camera positions, but right now I don't have one. So this is what we're gonna have to do. All right, so I've just been in here playing around with this different colors. I hardly ever use ultramarine blue, and I bought some the other day when I was at the store. So I decided to mix up some different things and see what happened with that. And that's what this background is. It's ultramarine with a little bit of burnt sienna and white. And I think I like it. I know that there are a lot of different mixes that I can make using ultramarine blue. I just hardly ever use it. I don't know why. But here's where I've made it to this point painting, and I'm going to work on just adding some different lights and darks and playing around. And like I said, this is my sketchbook that I use just for fun and experimenting. And I would highly suggest that you do the same thing. If you have something that you could use that is a stress-free zone where you don't overthink and you don't try to make something that is perfect, or you're trying to sell it or whatever, just let yourself play, and you'll be surprised at what kinds of things you can create when you're not stressing yourself out over whether or not it's going to be really good. Allowing yourself that creative freedom is usually where a lot of great ideas come from. At least that's the way it works for me. So I'm going to get these flowers here a little more finished up. And initially I had 3 little flowers here, and they kind of disappeared as I started painting. So I'm gonna have to go back in there and make those visible again. And I've got to decide if I think I want them to be yellow, so I'll just do this. Just something like that, maybe. I don't know. And I wanted to show y'all something that is a lot of fun. This is something that we'll do on Thursday and Friday night too. But if you look on this painting, this little area here and here that looks like baby's breath, I'm going to add some on this painting and show you a fun little trick to do that. Switch my brush out for a minute. And I'm going to leave everything really loose in this one because I like the direction we're going here. I really just did this whole painting just to test out that ultramarine for the background because like I said, I never use that. I don't know why. I used to use it more often than I do now. But I kind of got in a color rut and I've been using a lot of the same colors, which is okay. But sometimes you just need a new supply or just something different to give you a little spark of creativity. Okay, I'm going to show you this little trick. So this is a brush that is super old. It came in like a value pack or something from Michael's. But do you see how squishy and frayed those bristles are? This is the perfect thing to save. If you have brushes that you're really hard on, don't throw them away. Use them for interesting little marks and techniques like this. So I'm going to start with, the brush is dry, it's not wet, and I'm going to start in, let's see what color. My background is mostly going to be blue, so I'm going to add some lighter color on top, but it needs to have something, as when you're painting with acrylics, you build up layers, so you kind of always think backwards. So you want to think about the underpainting, and I usually begin with something dark to begin with and then build up my light colors. With acrylics, it's really building layers is what you do more than anything else. So I'm going to start with tapping my brush in some yellow ochre and then just spreading that out and splaying it out, like really getting it all spread out. And then I'm just gonna find a spot where I want some baby's breath, is what I'm calling it. And I'm gonna just tap. My camera's really close to the thing. Okay, I'm gonna tap, get a little more paint, and it makes these little blotchy areas. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's right in here. These little taps. Then grab some white on your brush and repeat. And depending on what kind of shape your messed up brushes are. You can get creative and come up with all kinds of things that you can paint using these really ruined brushes. So let's do it down here in this darker area. And the more paint you get on the brush, it's not going to work if it's a big blob like that. You've got to really tap it and squish it and get it almost dry, and then go back in there. So don't throw away your brushes that look like they are ruined, because you can use them for some very interesting things like this. Texture, just little hints of what could be like a filler in there in your flowers. Okay, once I did that, now I'm going to use like a smaller liner brush. Not too small, but just like a round one. And just make a few little areas that look like, actually, let's get some white in there. Like little branches that are holding it up. You could use green. Let's try that. Just tiny little lines that kind of connect things. They don't even have to really make sense, but just seeing that there's the idea of something like a little branch helps it all come together and make kind of tricks your eye, makes you think that you see some little, can you see that? Little branches there. Now I've got to decide if I want to keep that blue so bright. I'm going to work on this down here first. You can mix up some pretty dark colors without using just black. So whatever colors you're using in your painting, you can mix opposites on the color wheel, like blue and red, or purple and yellow, and get a really dark color that could be a lot prettier than just using straight black out of the jar or the tube, whichever. So see, that still looks like black. It's really dark. But I'm using ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. I do use black out of my jar though, because I like to mix it with yellow to make green. The green that I've got here is no, it's not ultramarine. It's cadmium yellow and Mars black. That is super dark. And see, my line needs to come up higher over here if I want it to be even. And I feel like I need to fix my leaves now that I painted over some of them. I'm going to go lighter. This is another thing you can do in your sketchbook is practice color ideas. So instead of my usual darker leaves, playing around with some light green here, and just to see what happens. And that's the whole point of your sketchbook, is to play and see what happens, in my opinion anyway. That's what I use mine for. So I highly recommend it. So let's see if I lighten up that blue back there, what that's gonna do. Ultramarine is a very strong pigment. My brush is dirty, so it's got a little tinge to it, which is fine. I like that better than it being just straight, flat color. I think I like it a little better, a little lightened up like that, rather than that really dark blue. It's dark for me anyway. I usually paint with very subdued color, very muted, more organic and natural colors. Like in nature, you don't see super, well, sometimes you do see super bright colors, but most of the time it's not so much. So that's why I would say more organic color. But that's not always the case. Sometimes you get some really super bright colors in flowers, or the sky may be a very intense orange or blue or yellow or red even. Yep, I like that better. I don't know if you noticed, but when I first began and I did this on these flowers, that light color dried, and it dried much darker. And that is another characteristic of acrylic paint. It dries, or it tends to dry darker. So that's another reason why adding all those layers and building up those layers can give you so much depth. And it's important to work from dark to light. It is the way that I paint anyway, working from darker to lighter. Sometimes you go back and add in a little bit of lighter and then a little more dark to get your values kind of straightened out. But for me, building it up like that helps more than anything. So here's what we ended up with. My conclusion is that this can be used for mixing, in my opinion, for me, the colors that I like to mix. I do like the blue that it gave me here. I'm adding a little bit of burnt sienna and white, a lot of white. So ultramarine, it says green shade. and I don't know. I don't know if I like it better than my regular blues, but this was a lot of fun anyway. And now that I'm looking, I need some more little something darker in the middle of these flowers that are here. Okay, that gave it some more depth. Now I'm okay with it. So, like I said, this has been a sketchbook that if I turn the page, it may mess this up, I don't know. I've dedicated it to florals. Let me see if I can do this. I'll move my camera over a little and I can show you. So, these are some of the florals I've done in here, and I've got random things stuffed in the pages just to keep it from sticking together, because acrylics do that too. When you close the pages up. This was a sample. I was just playing around with some flash paint, which I decided I did not like at all. It's like an acrylic paint that dries very matte, and I don't know, it's just not my thing. So I've been using this for a while, and here are some of the paintings in here. Some of it's drawings. I really like this one. That pink background. I don't know, makes me happy. And then I really don't like this one at all. I'm not even going to show you. I can come back and look at this later on. That one's happy. And get some ideas for inspiration. This one was actually an inspiration for my painterly course, some florals that we did in it. Oh, that one's stuck together. I really like painting white flowers, if you didn't notice. There's a lot of white ones. This one's something different. That's a different kind of thing. I've been trying to make myself, what's that? I'm not sure why that's in there. I've been trying to make myself use things that I would not normally use, like purple for this one. I don't normally paint with purple, so I tried to make myself use purple to see what I could come up with. But anyway, this is what we came up with today. I wanted to make sure you guys know to come back here to my Facebook page on Thursday and Friday night. I'm going to teach you how to paint an envelope filled with pretty florals. If you would like to sign up to get the supply list and email reminders, I will put a link down below for you to do that when our video is over here today. One more thing I just noticed. The center of these flowers and this dark down here are the same mix, and that's the ultramarine and the burnt sienna. But do you see how it pulls things together when you, and also these little dots here and here, those are all the same dark, and it's not just black out of the tube. But anyway, just a few tips and hints. And oh, also letting you guys know, if you didn't know already, let me turn this back around. Let's see. My membership, my painting membership, the creative community, is open through Monday, February the 10th. And I'll put that link down below too. Right now, my membership price is $27 a month. And this is the lowest price that I'm going to have on this forever and ever. It's only going to be going up from henceforth. So if you would like to join and get locked in at that price, you can keep that price. Even if the membership price goes up, those who are already in there and they're paying $27 a month, your price won't go up. You keep that price as long as you're in there, and you get access to everything. So I'll put that link down below too. And if you guys have questions about the workshop coming up this weekend or the creative community, you can post those in the comments down below, and I'll come back and answer those. And I will see you guys here hopefully on Thursday night and Friday night, and again on Tuesdays around 2 o'clock. Bye.